Thank you.
All right. So next question, please, South Plantation.
Hello, my name is Josh and I'm asking, what is the scale that y'all used when building the models? The scale. The scales for the models.
We use lots of different scales. Our metric scales are very different to your US scales, so we won't get into that in detail.
They're easier to understand.
But it's easier to understand if you look and see. So, but if you're building a model of a classroom, what you should think about is how big shall I make a person, and then work to a scale that's as near to that you can find. I mean, there are standard scales that are used in the US, and you can look that up on the internet.
For example?
Yeah, that would be 1 to 25 in metric scale.
That's a person, and it's the size of my hand.
So what you can do as well is, if you've got CAD plans, print out some plans at different scales, and you'll see how big your model's going to be.
Remember, you have to get it through a door, so don't make it too big.
Thank you, Justin. So students, perhaps you can share with the architect how far along the process you are in your challenge submission.
I got it. Excuse me, my name is Jonathan. We have a model on SolidWorks that we have been working on for a good little while, and it's pretty good, right? It's good. Has lots of detail. We're working on the rooftop of the classroom, and it's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivan and Mike, do you have questions for the students at South Plantation?
I was just going to say, if you're using that 3D model, can you then strip away elevations and plans from it that you can quickly colour up and then stick to card to get into 3 dimensions? Is that something you can do?
I'm Charles Smith again. That's one thing that's great about SolidWorks is it works with drawings, assemblies, and parts. So basically the classroom is a assembly and it has different parts in it. So if you decide I want this part to be a different size or I want it to be a different color, you go into the part and you edit it and it automatically changes that part and it changes it in the assembly. Thank you.
Have you made any models yet? Have you started making models to help your exploration on the using the computer?
Charles again. We've made a few, I wouldn't say great models. We made just a few like little, I guess, floppy models. We haven't made anything like you guys have showed us, but just a few things just to show what we mean, other than the 3D models that we've done online or on the computer. Thank you.
Have you used those models to help communicate your ideas to others? And have they worked? How have they worked in comparison with using the computer and the image on the screen to communicate?
Well, actually, first we made the model, not on the computer. We actually made the model that you can pick up and you can mess with. And that actually gave everyone, all of our designers and stuff like that, in the classes, a little bit of like detail on how they should and stuff like that, and make stuff on SolidWorks. So we didn't start on SolidWorks necessarily. We started with the model that wasn't that great, and then we built onto that, and then we used that to implement everything into SolidWorks. Thank you.
I would. It's interesting what you say, because actually, I think your natural reaction is correct, is to, you want to demonstrate something three-dimensionally first, to demonstrate what your early thinking is. As Mike says, the models don't need to be pretty. They just need to get an idea across. I don't think there's any such thing as a bad model. And I think it's, I think what I'm hearing is actually runs in parallel with what actually happens in the business here, is we can do as many computer graphics as we like. At the end of the day, when you put the model on the table, everyone says, ah, so that's what it's about. Thank you.
I think that's some really great advice, Ivan. Students, what idea is it that you are trying to communicate? Maybe you can share that with us as well.
An idea that we're trying to get across is like, instead of you making the material that it take like a long time to make and take up so much time and money, you can just like use a program like SolidWorks and you can edit, change it, and you don't have to buy some more materials to redo the stuff that you already did. Thank you.
It's good talking more about the classroom. Someone want to talk about the classroom? No?
No. They don't want to hear my voice anymore.
The most interesting project I think we're doing in our office at the moment is a concept for housing construction, and we've built about 150 so far, where the building is drawn on a CAD package. It's then built in a factory in 5 days in pieces. It's put together on site in 2 days, and it takes 2 weeks to finish it. And there's huge interest around the world. It's also very energy efficient. It's actually carbon positive, as it's all built from timber, which is from sustainable sources. It's insulated with old telephone directories, and it can be heated with the dog. The dog runs around and heats the house. It is so well insulated. And it has the ability, I think, to shift the concept of mass housing into another generation. It's basically a house built in the way you would build a piece of IKEA kit furniture. And what I'm hearing from you is the idea of speed and the idea of personal ability to control and determine space is important. And I think, this project that we're doing, I should have illustrated it really, is actually typifies that approach. I think it's a very important thing, and I'm glad you're thinking along those lines. Thank you.
Thank you. Students, do you have a question for the architects? For the model builder, Mike, and the architect, Ivan?
Yes, my name is Jonathan. I want to know what type of insulation do you use, and what type of lighting and energy power do you use for your buildings? Thank you.
For the buildings, not for the models. The models use little LED lights these days, and you can use a torch.
You can use
put a torch at the bottom of the model, it lights up. But energy for buildings, we certainly, in terms of lighting buildings and heating buildings, the lowest, first of all, there's daylight. And you start by using daylight as much as you can, because daylight's free. But what you must ensure is that daylight doesn't mean to say that the sun is going to heat your space up. So you have to protect from the sun, but you have to let daylight in. And that's a crucial thing, because also it's an interesting architectural thing. It's the emission of daylight into a building and seeing out of a building, shading from the sun, that begins to give your building scale. It begins to give it grain and component pieces. We don't build buildings anymore that are just mirror glass. That's in the past. Those buildings require lots and lots of energy to keep them cool or to keep them warm. When it comes to